The next panel seeks to analyze AI's transformative impact on education, health, biometrics, retail and e-commerce, manufacturing, transportation, logistics, and agriculture. I'm going to be calling out the panelists on stage. Whoever is ready and mic'd up, please feel free to just join us. We have Dr. Mike Short, Chairman of AWTG, Tariq Jundi, CEO of Ankabut, Rob Beswick, Managing Director of Virgin Mobile UAE, Christina Bueti, Counselor on AI-Powered Virtual Worlds and Smart Sustainable Cities ITU, Rania Halime, Managing Director, The Learning Initiative, Mei Lee, VP ICT Solution Marketing, Huawei Middle East and Central Asia, Zhang Meng, President of EN Global Account ZTE, and the panel will be moderated by Rana Hajir, Advisory and Professional Services, UKMESA HPE.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. I'd like please to first start by thanking Tony Aid for, as always, giving us the chance to host this very, very critical panel. I'd like to thank my esteemed panelists for taking the time of their busy schedule to share their valuable experience, and of course, most importantly, for the audience to sticking around with us right now. So today, AI is no longer a single technology. It's an ecosystem reshaping every industry, from personalized learning to precision agriculture, from smarter supply chains to human-centric biometrics. AI is accelerating innovation and efficiency while also raising important ethical, regulatory, and social questions. Our goal today is to explore how AI is transforming these verticals, the opportunities ahead, and what responsible adoption looks like. We are extremely fortunate to have a balanced representation in our panel from technology providers, digital infrastructure leaders, education experts, and global policymakers. This will allow us to explore readiness, adoption, sector use cases, and future visions. So without further ado, let's begin by grounding the discussion in strategies and readiness in AI adoption. And I would like to invite Rania to answer my first question. Rania, you're from Learning Initiatives. Thank you for being here. How can organization cultivate a digital mindset and build awareness before adopting AI to minimize resistance and ensure smooth integration?
Great, thank you, Rana. Thank you, everyone, for having us today. Actually, this is one of my favorite topics because in order to adapt AI, it's not only about the tools. It's very important to focus on the people themselves. And building a digital mindset inside organizations usually does not only include to invest in the latest AI and latest technology tools. It's mainly about making the people who use the AI, how to understand it, how to work with it, and also how do they feel about it. And let's be frank, I mean, anything that is for us that comes with uncertainty, we have some resistance on it. And I believe when people start working with AI and they start using it in their day-to-day work, they understand that these tools are made in order to support them more than to replace them. And this is where you can see the big shift, and this is where we encourage most of the organizations to focus more on building the capabilities for the humans inside the organization to build curiosity and to understand more how to use those technologies. And we do that actually a lot within our training. When we do AI experiential sessions, we notice lots of people come out of the session feeling so comfortable that AI is not going to replace them, it's just supporting them, and I think this is where the change starts.
Thank you, Rania. Now, taking it a bit higher level, I would like to invite Christina to answer my second question. How can AI be leveraged to accelerate digital inclusion across the developing nations?
Thank you so much, Rania. I think that's a very important question and probably give us also an opportunity to look at AI really as an equalizer, but also as great opportunity, especially for developing countries to really leapfrog and being able actually to reach out to new opportunities. Of course, AI, I think Rania gave good example in the case of education, but across the day we have seen the applications in many fields, from agriculture to education to also digital public infrastructure, bringing amazing opportunities and improvement in services in terms of cost and benefits. For developing countries, there are also challenges that are associated with that, starting with connectivity. If there's no connectivity, basic connectivity, that will be very difficult actually. And that becomes, actually widening the divide. So really not giving access. The second is also the local context, the data. It's important for AI to learn the local context, to learn, because otherwise we'll be learning something that will not be applicable in that specific context. And, each country has its own values, has its own actually legal systems, its only principles. So that is important for AI to learn the real values in that context. And the third one is definitely the institutional capacity. It's important actually to train, so really to have, actually to improve in terms of investing in skills, so training not only civil servants, but also teachers, but also really raising that institutional capacity to the next level, which will allow definitely AI to become, the new equalizer that we all hope that it will be. So definitely for developing countries, it's certainly something that can be seen as not only as a promised technology, shouldn't be seen really as all about algorithms, but more as a transformative change. And that is really something which we are seeing, for example, at ITU, happening more and more, where developing countries are being more active also in terms of, AI governance, in terms of discussion, in terms of really wanting actually to use this technology for their own improvement.
Thank you. You mentioned 3 important points. Where do you see the greatest urgency today from those 3, for example?
Well, there are 2.2 billion people offline.
I agree.
That's, I think, probably the first gap that needs to be filled. The others are, I would say, equally important, but I think that investing on inclusive infrastructure, it's critical.
Amazing. Thank you, Christina, for your insight. And this has gave me the perfect segue to ask Rob my following question. What are the most impactful AI use cases Virgin Mobile has adopted so far in the UAE, if we want to take it back to a local context?
I think, look, AI fixes or should fix problems, right? So we started about 2 years ago by going to our teams and saying, how can AI help you fix problems internally, improve processes, efficiencies, drive revenues? And secondly, how can AI help improve, or machine learning at that time as well, improve the customer experience? And by doing that, we bypassed that issue of people believing that perhaps AI would replace them. And we empowered the teams to go and start those use cases. Now, we're a digitally native business, so that's sort of endemic in our operating model. And what's happened as a direct result of that is that each area of the business is stepping forward with solutions, use cases, proof of concepts, rapid cycle testing on AI that is now driving huge value. And to put that into context, I mean, for example, if you look at our CVM, so our CVM is talking to our existing customer base, we use it to stretch ARPU or to reduce churn or for retention or whatever. Specifically on our mobile business, AI is delivering now about 10%, or AI-driven campaigns are delivering 10% of our revenue. So that's a revenue model that the CVM team have used to help add value to the customers by prompting or offering next best offers or looking at churn retention. Complete flip side, the technology team came to us and said, look, we think that this fixed wireless access product, our home internet product, is really, really good, but we believe that we could do something that really improves the customer experience by dynamically allocating cell tower connectivity using an AI model. And by the way, here's this guy, this engineer, Omar, and he's developed this tool over his weekends. Yeah, and we implemented that actually. We've been able to scale that. A direct result of that is that the customer experience, the NPS on our home wireless product has gone through the roof, and also, and it's a challenging product, by the way, and also our churn has reduced, so we're making more money. So I think, look, there's just 2 use cases. There's loads more. We've introduced conversational AI. We've worked with AWS to help us to develop that. I know some of the guys are here today. And that's now answering 40% of inbound queries through our chat engine, which means then that the agents have more time to be able to serve other customers and fix medium-stroke higher involvement issues. We're looking at how we integrate AI not only into the conversational AI, but then through to the middleware layer, so that the AI can go in, look at the code, understand what the customer's problems were, either then allocate it out to an engineer to fix, or even further down the line self-heal. So I think, look, just to sort of round up on that, I think firstly, my recommendation to you is not to try and take a top-down leadership position on AI, and there's a lot of strategy. Throw it open to your teams. They will tell you what they need.
Thank you, Rob. May, Rob has given us visibility on the telecom industry, but you're working across multiple sectors. And I was like, if you can tell us how you've seen AI being leveraged to transform different sectors.
Right, thank you for the question. By the way, I want to first thank you for organizing the most gender-balanced panel by now. Thank you for that. Well done. Right, thank you, Tony, for organizing this. So when we look at the AI, truly, this morning I have heard a lot to the telecom industry leaders spoke about different user cases, different approach, what they say the infrastructure should be automated or autonomous driven by the AI agents. So ultimately, if you look at the telecom itself, it's very much a focus from customer interface, how we can build the AI kind of entry point that help us orchestrate the different tasks. So equivalent of what we see a lot of the OTT companies are doing. So this is allow the operators to grab their users, but also by large, so what they look at as the internal, in terms of automated business process, and provide a better understanding when they face the customer. And more important, to automate the whole network operation side of things, the maintenance operation to improve efficiency. So that's by large, to summarize, the 3 parts they very much focus on. But of course, there are also internal business part of that, how to host the infrastructure, that the computing infrastructures allow the enterprise to come in to develop the model, develop user cases, leverage on their own AI capabilities. So that's telecom, is all angles they are adopting AI. But by far larger of that is part we don't say day to day. That's how the AI be used everywhere. So in fact, the last year when I was in China, I saw this advertisement on the street that said AI-driven milk tea. And so that's kind of buzzword that everybody to use. But we're really talking to the guys, so they actually leverage a lot of the information that they have, use AI models to help us to analyze what's the most popular tea, what kind of flavor mixture they should push to the market. So that's for the small business, you already see a large use of the AI capability. Where from industry perspective, if you look at the finance sectors, they're very much looking at how they can use AI to manage and control the risk, identify the fraud, help to understanding how they can drive the product development. So again, it's for improve the productivity and improve the efficiency, improve the security from finance perspective. Where the house sectors, we see a lot of the user cases being used. That's a lot to do with the pathology analytics, using leverage on the large models, and building the analytical foundation models purely for the sequence analysis, for the DNA development, understand how the disease should be combated, and what drug can be developed that. Education part, we see a lot of work has been done using the AI large models to build the capabilities help to develop the teaching script automatically based on the students' agreed needs, level of study, and subject. That saves lots of work of the teachers, but we also provide the capabilities looking at the teachers, how they deliver the courses and any areas of improvement. And furthermore, we have seen a lot of development using the AI that help to analyze the oil and gas sectors, the area of excavations and the soil analysis. Normally, in the traditional model analysis with the data, so you need to collect 3 months data and take 3 or 4 weeks to generate the information that allows the productions to continue going, or they should move on to the other area. But with AI, and it's actually use cases, they can develop doing analysis quite instantly in the real time. So we have seen these cases which we don't, we also use Fluffy, the robot development, the lovely toys just launched, AR glasses being used everywhere. But in fact, industry-wise, you see wide use of the AI to improve productivity, improve efficiency. That's where we see the AI is already developed at that.
Mai, do you feel one industry is moving faster than others?
Particularly, I think if you look at this telecom itself, they don't see them as a connectivity company, so they see techco.
Yes.
So it's the slogan we use that. In fact, I saw the early on.
No, but I agree.
Yeah, so they are the ones actually moving quite a lot fast.
Yes.
Yes. And also a lot of the OT companies are way ahead when developing the AI capability in that respect. Yeah.
Thank you, Mai. So now that we understand readiness and broad transformation, let's talk about the people and systems that need to evolve alongside AI. And I'd like to invite Tariq to answer my following question. Many sectors see AI as productivity tool, but in education, it can fundamentally reshape learning outcomes. How can national digital infrastructure like Ankabut accelerate that shift?
Thank you, Rana, and thanks to Telecom Review. Thanks, Tony. Basically, we cannot build an AI economy on a shaky foundation. So the core infrastructure should be the first and starting point for any nation to adopt AI. And for AI to scale, it needs, number one, high throughput network, low latency routing, secured environment, federated identity, and definitely a unified data model. This is exactly what we do at Ankabut. So in Ankabut, we enable the national digital education through our National Research Education Network, because we connect the majority of the education institutions in the country through a high-speed connectivity, and now we are pushing intelligence and pushing AI into the edge with Edge AI. That's number one. Number two, we're building a digital experience platform. The digital experience platform will connect learning management systems, digital libraries, virtual labs, research platforms, and also will connect as well assessments and analytics. When we connect all those pillars, we'll ensure that we will reduce fragmentation between all ecosystem, and also we will be enabling a consistent personalized experience and personalized learning ecosystem within the education sector. That's number two. Number three, also compute for AI is very important, and here we need to build what we call an AI lab as a service that would be connected to sovereign cloud in the country. So I believe that AI adoption is not a software decision. It's an infrastructure, it's not a software choice, it's an infrastructure decision here.
100%.
And we cannot build a personalized learning if our infrastructure cannot recognize every user and every student.
Thank you. To build on that, I'd like to invite Rania to answer the following question. What new skill sets will educator need to work effectively with AI-powered tools?
Well, the good news is that AI, the educators to use AI, they don't have to be specialists. But I would like to call them more as AI-enabled facilitators. They need to have some approachable skills, like basically prompting with AI, maybe also evaluating the content, which is the AI-generated content, as well as analyzing the learning experience to make it more personalized. But I believe the most essential skill they need to have is the human element, which goes by empathy, which goes by understanding the learner needs, and also to have the engagement. I know AI tools are doing part of this job, but still it cannot replace what educators can do. And this is, I think, very essential for educators to have those AI within their toolkits, because it's gonna change their learning experience. So instead of just delivering content, they will be able to have a very interesting experience for learning, and where it gives very, very good outcomes.
Thank you, Rania. And if we want to look at a bigger scale, Christina, if you can tell us what opportunities and risks do agentic AI systems pose for local governments, and how should cities prepare for this shift?
Thank you. I think that if we look at it in the context of cities, it brings some of the main challenges that have to be faced also by governments. Some of them starts with definitely different cities. They have to deal with different systems. Whether you have data stored in health sector, energy, transport. And having, this data, not for a city, not being able to actually leverage this data in an effective manner is already not being able to make informed policy decisions, because you take a decision based just on one part of the information. So definitely one of the opportunities that are brought by AI is really to make, the systems more efficient, even with the use cases presented on how processes can be made more effective. But the challenges brought is that if interoperability is not solved, so if these systems are not able to talk to each other, or these platforms actually are not able to talk to each other, then definitely that is one of the challenges that cities will have to face today, but also tomorrow, because if they start implementing AI in mobility sector, for example, but then, that AI platform is not able to interact with another one in another sector, then again, they will have the same problem as they face today. So it's not interoperability. I believe it will be definitely one of the key challenges. The other challenges that I see is certainly in terms of being able actually to have civil servants that are skilled. They need to be able actually to know how to use technologies. And the third one is probably going back to what was being said before by Rob, is that if you have a problem, then you choose the technologies to sort out and solve that problem, but not just use that technologies across different systems, because maybe it might not be actually the right technology that will help you to address that issues. And for cities, it's very important that they put in place the necessary governance, because they will need to know, for example, if you want to automate permits, which is one of the areas where AI can have definitely a significant impact. We are talking about processes that takes usually months that could be automated in probably hours. So that is in terms of cost, saving in cost, effectiveness, etc. But then how can you make sure that when you automate that process, which is amazing, but if you are denying, for example, the permit to someone that is fully compliant, and then you are repeating that error, in sequence. So there has to be also oversight, which is extremely important. So that is definitely what cities they will have to look at. when they embrace AI to their processes, and they have really to take a very holistic approach whereby AI can be seen as definitely a province in technology, but also as a technology that needs to, be used in a safe and secure manner. So with those shared principles and guardrails, which will allow the cities actually to be able to use it effectively.
Thank you, Christina. And since we're touching on the human element of AI, I'd like to ask one more question about the same topic to Rob. How do you navigate the balance between automation and maintaining a human touch, especially in customer support?
Look, I think it's difficult. I mean, what I will say is that if you implement a solution that doesn't solve a customer's problem, whether it's AI or anything else, you're going to have an unhappy customer. So if you are embarking on an AI journey to help productivity or to reduce costs, please make sure that it fulfills a brand promise, it fulfills and meets a customer need, and it's clearly designed and helpful. I think if you do that, then you're going to provide a solution that fixes a customer problem, which I always revert to, but and there will be no need to have a human touch. Having said that, also remember that AI can help, for example, in customer care. It's not just using a conversational AI to navigate a customer's problem through chat or voice or wherever it may be. It can also be helping an agent get to a root cause analysis and solution much quicker than perhaps if they didn't have that. And I think that for us at the next level, I think it is difficult as a digital business sometimes to retain that human touch. And obviously Virgin as a brand has always had that customer experience DNA. So I think it comes down to really clear product design, high quality, and the right implementation, and a balanced view on how AI can help both your people and your customers solve problems.
Thank you, Rob. Let's now dive into how AI is being applied across real industries, healthcare, manufacturing, retail, and logistics. And I'd like to invite Mr. Mong to answer the first question. How can AI-powered infrastructure support real-time diagnostic, remote monitoring, telemedicine, national at scale?
Okay. Thanks, Rana, for having us here today. And actually, this question is divided into several parts.
Yes.
Healthcare, retail, e-commerce, manufacturing. So basically, the AI is in everything. And I see it is divided into different levels. So first, we see it's about the connectivities. Second, on top of the connectivities, and we can see the intelligent. And both intelligent and connectivities, I believe it will be data-driven. So talking about all these different industries, different domains, that connectivities is the foundation to enable all the industries. For example, the 5G, they already defined the low latency and also enhanced the mobile broadband. That means the speed, the network, and also the massive IoT. All these factors are the foundation to enable all different industries, including healthcare, including the manufacturing, and also the e-commerce, this retail. So on top of these connectivities, and we see it's intelligent. Intelligent is to make our life and also different part of the users more convenient, comfortable to use this. So we're talking this one by one. For example, the healthcare. Healthcare, that the connectivity can enable the people who stay in the rural areas, the remote areas, the people, as long as they have access to the network, they will be able to have a remote diagnose with the very good resources from the city, from the very nice hospital, very experienced doctors to get the quick, and they have the interactions. And talking about manufacturing. So nowadays, the smart factories, it will be autonomous and also about for robotics, and can increase the productivities, and also based on the embedded AI solutions, and can reduce a lot of downtime and troubleshooting. And particular to our industry, for the telecom business, the autonomous network that gives the operators that end-to-end, and to save their, for example, the troubleshooting time up to 50% with all the experience. And for the e-commerce, so that is, you see the recent from the traditional e-commerce, it's like the Amazon, like the Alibaba, and now it's moving more and more to the live stream, to the live stream e-commerce, and maybe in the future can evolve into the sunglasses. So that means all these high advanced experience, they will need more data connections, connectivities, and low latencies. So that is, again, the foundation, and is there. Yeah, that's all. Thanks.
Thank you, Mom. Going back to the health industry, I would like to ask Mike, what role does AI play in accelerating remote diagnostics, patient monitoring, and data-driven clinical decisions?
Thank you for the opportunity to be here today. Thank you to Telecom Review for the 19 plus years of knowledge transfer that is evident in the room based on what I've heard today. But it seems to me that mobile is the most inclusive technology on the planet today, even if we have some gaps to fill. It also is important to look at the data that we're processing in the telecoms industry. So AWTG, we specialize in private networks, and there are some locations that need extra help. I would say hospitals amongst them. I would say some of the social care communities amongst them. So when we think about the data that exists in a hospital, is it accessible to all that need it in a private, trusted way? Do all the clinicians have access to the electronic patient records? Do all the surgeons who may need to collaborate, or doctors who may need to collaborate, know about this? If you go to somewhere like Singapore, and their advanced hospital in Singapore is second to none worldwide today in its use of cloud services, advanced 5G connectivity, but also serving patients in ways in which you can't always imagine. Their reliable private 5G network is offering automated care with automated robots in the hospital. It's sharing information about the building facilities. Is the air conditioning right? Is the temperature right? Are there other wards that need to be closed down temporarily for various reasons? So it's monitoring the facility and supporting the patients. But it's also, with high speed, low latency, offering robotic treatment in surgery. It's offering capability which is not available to most hospitals in the world. So when we think about moving forward with healthcare, we need to make healthcare as inclusive as mobile is today, and more inclusive where mobile and healthcare can work together. You know, we've got a health divide globally where not all countries have enough doctors or enough hospitals. So we need to be able to treat and prevent disease at home, not just in the hospital. We need to support them better with wearables, support them better with data transfer. There is so much more we've learned from COVID that actually we can help with from the digital arena.
And Mike, while I have you with me, I would like to pick your brain a little bit when it comes to the manufacturing industry. So how do AI-driven networks change the landscape for manufacturing and logistic clients?
So some of the manufacturers we've served as AWTG have needed private networks to get better control of their data, to get better control of their machines, to get better control of their factories. So a private network can add resilience to the manufacturer in ways in which dealing with the average consumer is quite a different story. Resilience in the factory is critical for productivity, sharing data between different parts of the manufacturing plant, helping to manage the supply chain more effectively. If I take an example which isn't strictly manufacturing, if you take ports, ports need to know when ships are coming in, unloading is taking place, and then they can ship out the goods, but also return the ships fully loaded. So private networks can actually make a big difference that sometimes a single operator cannot deliver on. So sometimes we aggregate different operators' spectrum or capacity or capability. Sometimes we integrate some of the IT systems into a more tailored location. So being inclusive of location is as important as being as inclusive of sectors like health or manufacturing.
Thank you. We've explored industry applications. Let's turn to cities, campuses, and ecosystems where AI connectivity and governance intersect. And I would like to ask Christina, how can standards help cities avoid fragmented AI deployment to ensure seamless integration across mobility, energy, health, and public services?
Well, I think, thank you. Thank you for the question. I think that that goes a bit back to what we were discussing before about the fact that, in order to be able actually really to share data, you need to be able to have platforms that are able to talk to each other, as simple as that.
Yes.
And that brings us also to an important point on really making sure that international standards are embraced and used, because that helps actually to prevent a situation whereby, for example, a city can be locked into a specific solution and not being able actually to share data with a neighboring city that use a different platform, just to give an example. But if you even look beyond the possibility that you have also to use the data that you already collect, depending on the legal system where a city is based, so not even going further, brings you an amazing new opportunity to use those data actually to expand even the economy of the city itself. That's what Dubai is doing with AI, and that's a great example of how city is leveraging actually AI in a positive way, but also brings new challenges on how you use different data sets and different data formats, and that require, of course, extensive work, which not every city are capable of. Sometimes because they lack the capacity, sometimes because they lack the resources, sometimes because the fragmentation that they have already in the city is simply something that they're not able actually to leverage with one single technology, but they need actually to use a set of different technologies. It also brings new different challenges, which are definitely more related to the legal aspects, because we have seen that, for example, probably now with AI more than any other technology, the importance to make sure that cities bear in mind that AI can be biased if it's not properly trained.
Yes.
Requires that it's important for the city to put in place the necessary principles that will make sure actually that even, for example, children, minorities, vulnerable groups are all protected. So that is, of course, an extra layer of work for cities that some of them, they have the capacity, some others, for example, in developing countries, they don't. So it's really, I think, probably a journey that the city embrace, and then, in starting to address those issues, they'll see that they are able actually to move forward only when they put in place certainly international standards that can give them actually the assurance that, for example, they have trusted principles, that they have security embedded, that they have accessibility embedded, which is extremely key for a city. I mean, you want to make sure that you serve all your citizens and not just part of your population.
Thank you, Christina. Tariq, talking about the speed of moving forward, we were discussing that EdTech adoption often moves slower than other sectors. So what will it take for education system to embrace AI as quickly as industries like banking or retail?
Actually, there are a few reasons why EdTech is lagging a bit behind. Number one, we're dealing with the most sensitive population here. So we have a mandate to protect vulnerable young learners. That's number one. Number two, governance in EdTech lags behind innovation. And here we have a bit of a disadvantage in comparison with finance sector, in comparison with retail, because they were pioneers when it comes to developing a governance framework ahead of time. And number three, also the challenge is the fragmentation across ministries, schools, and also platform. This makes the adoption a bit slower and the integration is a bit slower. But if we look at one of the most successful examples of how to deal with the challenges of low adoption is the UAE. So in the UAE, I think there are many accelerators initiatives. Number one, to have a national AI strategy. And with the AI charter that was announced in the UAE, I think they are ahead of other countries. They are enforcing, and we are enforcing the adoption of AI in institutions, in universities, in ministries, and so on and so forth. That's number one. Number two is the investment scale. So in Abu Dhabi alone, there will be around 13 to 15 billion dirham of investments in innovation and also in digital transformation in upcoming 2 to 3 years. And number three is the security-first approach, which is very important. If we notice the cybersecurity attacks on the education sector, it reached 200% in terms of increased attacks for the last 5 years. So we cannot scale AI without having a cyber resilience. And the UAE dealing with cybersecurity as a foundation layer in any AI stack. So if we look at other countries or other experiences, I guess that an EdTech adoption comes as reactive. But in the UAE and also other neighboring countries, also like Saudi, I guess that they are. It's more systematic, it's more strategic, and also it's more nationally orchestrated.
Thank you. And while I have you with me, if I can ask you one more question, please. What is AI touching everything from content to assessment to analytics? What does a smart campus 2030 look like in your view?
I guess smart campus would focus on 4 main pillars: on sustainability, mobility, security, and user experience. Those are the 4 pillars. And if we can envision smart campus in 2030, I guess it will be an AI-powered, it will be identity-enabled, it will be sensor-rich, it will be carbon-efficient, and also it should connect to what we call a national cloud, a national research cloud. We should connect as well all AI and IoT and advanced analytics together to ensure, again, back to the first point of personalized learning experiences and personalized learning ecosystem. So I believe in 2023 or in 2030, a smart campus will not be a place. A smart campus would be an ecosystem where digital twins really would optimizes the resources, would optimizes digital learning, and also well-being in the real time.
Thank you, Tariq. I'd like to invite May to take my following question. How is AI helping operators improve network performance in real time beyond traditional rule-based automation?
Right. I think today we have quite a lot of discussions from different operators and vendors, particularly Comic and my company present different user cases. So generally, what we see when the AI comes to improve operation and maintenance, it falls into part. One is the agent type of capability to fully automate the task in the network. That's including identity of fault, optimize the network, and doing the configuration, doing the change management. So that's the hard work behind. Quite often need a huge human involvement, and also able to dispatch the fault ticket to the field engineers to manage to change the equipment if it's needed. So that's massively improves the efficiency. The other part is more kind of the co-pilot type of capability, which means when you have the operation engineers need to learn something, easy to ask the questions, and so the AI will be able to provide the answers, help a person to understand what's the problem, where's the possibility, where's the what's the knowledge base you should adopt to actually deal with the issues. So that's pretty much a focus on the two parts when they're looking at the operation and the maintenance part of that.
Thank you, May. Rob, since we only have 2 minutes left, I would like you to help me wrap this up by asking you, what is your AI strategy from infrastructure investment, partnership, or even application development? Let's sum this up.
A 2-minute answer. It's really easy. So, number one, AI has to help us build a better customer experience. Customer experience will be the differentiator that helps Virgin Mobile succeed. Number two, we're interested in how AI can help us redefine the operating model, business model, enable scale, because we are a smaller business that has now an opportunity to scale at a lower cost. So timing is interesting for that one. How do we make that happen? Number one, platform is key. So I think AI has to be integrated in the OSS, BSS stack, agentic AI, and I think that is a big opportunity, actually, and one which smaller, more disruptive brands can actually deploy. Number two is you have to work with great partners, because partners will enable that change, and I think today we've seen some brilliant cutting-edge leading thought leaders and partners that are out there that can help enable that for us. And number three is going back to what I said originally, and that is you need to empower your people. So I think you need to throw the challenges back into the organisation and ask them to drive the change for AI in the future.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate your transparency, your honesty, and taking the time to be with us this afternoon. Thank you all for being amazing audience.